Hello and thanks for choosing RTV News. We hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I am Isabel Masozera. First, the headlines. On Monday, Rwanda's parliament will elect 9 of its members to represent the country at the East African Legislative Assembly, EALA. Also coming up, some of the members of the Liberal Party PL expressed excitement over the progress their party has realized over the past 31 years. And globally, we take you on an extraordinary journey of a period in Britain's history. That and more coming up. We're glad you chose RTV News. Today, I'm Isabel Masozera. Now, top of our edition on Monday, Rwanda's parliament will elect 9 of its members from the 24 candidates who were submitted by the National Electoral Commission to represent the country at the East African Legislative Assembly, EALA. Adam Squizera now reports.
These 24 candidates were presented by the National Electoral Commission to the Parliament of Rwanda, including 3 representatives from each category: women, youth, and people with disabilities. There must be elected 1 of each category. In addition, there will be elected only 6 candidates from the officially recognized political parties in Rwanda. These candidates will be replacing those who completed their 5-year term, including Honorable Odagasinzigwa, Martin Goga, Karinda Emmanuel, Guijema Pierre Celestin, and others. However, there are those who have completed their 2 terms who are not eligible to contest again for the position, but there are others who have completed 1 term and are eligible to add the 2nd term. The candidates, including those elected in special categories, were submitted to the both chambers of the Parliament of Rwanda, where they will elect 9 of them to represent Rwanda in EALA, according to Charles Munyaneza, the Executive Secretary of the National Electoral Commission.
The National Electoral Commission started by organizing elections to get candidates from the National Youth Council, from the National Women Council, and then from the Council of People with Disabilities. And on 5th, we managed to hold those elections, and 3 candidates from each category were elected. And we have already submitted the names of those candidates to Parliament, both chambers. And from the 9 candidates from the Youth Council, Women Council, and People with Disabilities Council, both chambers are going to elect 3. That's 1 from each category. Again, we also received the files and candidates from political parties that are represented in Parliament. We received the candidates from 5 political parties and organizations.
On 5th December 2022, there were elections for the 3 candidates in each category, including 24 candidates in the category of women, 36 candidates in the category of youth, and 11 candidates in the category of people with disabilities. The officially recognized political parties in Rwanda have submitted candidates including RPF Inkotanyi, the Social Democratic Party PSD, Liberal Party PL, the Democratic Green Party of Rwanda, and PS Imberakuri Party. In total, they submitted 15 candidates, from which 6 candidates will be elected. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Now, still on political matters, some members of the Liberal Party PL have expressed excitement about the progress their party has realized over the past 31 years, especially in regards to providing constructive ideas towards different aspects of the country's governance. Adam Squizera continues.
Some of the long-standing members of the PL party, including Mukaisenga Julian from Rusizi district and Gahutu Landwal from Ruhango district, says that despite the challenges their party faced, but they are happy for the party's achievements since 1991. If there is a progress, it comes from the activities of the country that it built or the party built, so that the people who live in it can develop them as well. You will not progress without freedom. When you have freedom, you will have peace. You will have all the progress that comes with it.
It is true that PL party went through tough times, but we appreciate where we have reached now. Leaders and members are helping each other in everything. We will lift each other. There is no one that will be left behind as long as we prefer to lift each other.
Members of the PR party gathered on Sunday for their 8th regular Congress in an event which was preceded by the training on the Rwanda program and the ideas that should characterize politicians, as it was followed by the elections for the bureau that would help this party for a 5-year term. Honorable Mukabalisa Donatil, who is the Speaker for the Chamber of Deputies, was re-elected to lead the PR party, as she noted that they will increase their efforts in giving ideas that will build the country. Speaker Mukabalisa Donatil also pointed out that the PR party will compete for the seats in the parliament elections scheduled for next year, but the decision to compete or not compete in the presidential elections has not yet been decided by the PR party.
These things will be approved when the time comes, but for the parliamentary elections, I assure you that we will participate in it. We will have candidates, and later we will look at other matters and see what should be done.
Among others who are elected in the leadership of the PR party at the national level includes Munyanji Oteogen, who became the first vice president, Twagirimana Epimac, who was elected as second vice president, Senator Amuhire Adri, who was elected as the Secretary General of the party, and Dr. Murenzi Fanuel, who was elected as the Treasurer of the PR party at the national level. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Thank you for that report, Adams. Now we move to education matters. Students from all over the world travel to attain quality education from Rwandan universities. Now this was made evident as more than 600 scholars graduated from the Adventist University of Central Africa. Olivon Tete now reports.
It was a moment of joy for 621 students who completed their bachelor's and master's degree in various departments at the Adventist University of Central Africa. Some of those students include Monari Kemuna from Kenya and Kameka Marvela from Burundi. They emphasized that the quality of Rwanda's education made them come to Rwanda for studying.
Okay, the quality is good, the system is tough, it's grueling, schedules, deadlines to meet and pass marks to achieve, but at the end of the day, it all works out in the best for us, because once we go out there, we find that we are overqualified and confident enough that we can be able to take on whatever challenge is brought to us.
I appreciate the system of education of Rwanda because it shaped me, and I appreciate the fact that girls also have the opportunity to study IT and arrive at this level that you have testified. It is of a great privilege that we all have the opportunity to study. I truly thank the government of Rwanda. The President and Vice Chancellor of the Adventist University of Central Africa, Professor Kelvin Onanga, points out that Rwanda enforced the quality of education, which is the foundation, and this is the reason why students from 28 countries are studying at this university.
Over the last 4 or 5 years, this administration has seen the growth and the explosion in international students. So right now we have international students from just about 25 countries in this continent. Indeed, we do have a student from the United States of America. So we're proud of the fact that ours is becoming an international school. Our vision, if you have access to it, is to become a center of academic excellence in the continent and beyond.
Accompanied by their parents, relatives and friends, on Sunday they received their diplomas as a symbol of recognition of their dedication and hard work throughout their studies. Some of the parents of these students appreciated the opportunity of the education for all provided by the government. There have been reforms in the system of education where every Rwandan has given the right to study, not basing on races as how it was before. We thank the President of the Republic. Graduates came from a wide range of faculties such as business administration, science and information and technology, education, theology, nursing and midwifery. These 621 students were studying at the Masoro and Gishuju campuses in Kigali, as well as the Ngoma campus in the Karongi district in the Eastern Province. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive. Now, more education and news. Some international high scholars now say they have taken the decision to abstain from drug use. Also, they are refusing to cover up for those who are using drugs. This comes after a drug prevention campaign was organized convening Rwandan youth, the national police, and the city of Kigali. Olive Montete continues.
The campaign included various games and brought together more than 200 students from international high schools that operate in the city of Kigali. The National Police, the Ministry of Youth and Culture, and the city of Kigali had dialogues with young people about the consequences of using drugs. CP Bruce Munyambo, the Commissioner for Community Policing, points out that this campaign focused on the youth because they are the future of the country.
You are the future of our country. You are the future leaders. You are future policemen. Avoid using drugs so that you may complete successfully your studies and fulfill your responsibilities, which is to develop yourselves and as well develop your country.
Students who participated in this campaign say that they benefited a lot and intend to share with their classmates and friends what was learned.
The consequences may not be present at the moment, but they will be noticed in the future. As we grow, we may develop respiratory diseases, and that's not good.
From today, we're going to teach students from our schools not to use drugs because we've seen the different effects of drugs on our lives. So we're going to be telling them, educating them about those effects of drugs and encouraging them to stop using drugs. Thank you.
Do you know any consequences of using drugs?
Yes, consequences are many. They spoil our lungs, they spoil our system, they distract us from our studies, they make us indisciplined. They are very many and they should be stopped.
The Vice Mayor in charge of socio-economic affairs in the city of Kigali, Eugenie Martin, urged parents to find time for their children who are still studying because they are also exposed to the use of drugs. They have to keep a close eye on their children and be close to them in every way possible. Know their children's lifestyle so that they can notice those who are using drugs a bit early without waiting for further damages. Sometimes they start consuming little by little, and then we get to know about that when they are already addicted to drugs. In addition to cannabis, cocaine, and shisha tobacco, young people are encouraged to avoid alcohol for those under the age of 18 and to avoid alcohol abuse for those over the age of 18 because alcohol abuse prevents the youth to achieve their dreams. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Now moving on, from the 13th to the 15th of December, Rwanda will host the second International Conference on Public Health in Africa. According to the Ministry of Health, the conference will be attended by over 3,000 people from Rwanda, Africa, and across the world. Now, the Minister of Health noted that the conference was as a result of the negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the continent, adding that the gathering will serve as a catalyst to build more resilient health systems that will allow African countries to prepare better and manage emerging health threats.
It's a conference that is happening for the second time. Why we're having this conference is actually because Africa has experienced a period where we're having this pandemic really putting a lot of pressure on our health systems. And we've learned a lot that we can do as Africans, as a health system that really are facing a lot of challenges, to improve what we do, to learn from each other, to see where we didn't do well and how we can improve that, but also to see solutions that we have as Africans, as experts on this continent, to face the pressing challenges that are not likely to stop tomorrow, but the better we prepare today together defines how we will be responding to the next threats without necessarily losing the gains we've been having controlling other diseases such as HIV, TB, malaria, because COVID is one example, is one virus, but could be another virus tomorrow. We are talking about Ebola virus disease in the region. There could be a new virus that is emerging anytime. But how are we discussing this? How are we checking ourselves on our readiness with tools that we didn't have before, because we don't want to face a situation where we're locking down everything, because that is the past. So what are we doing now to prevent what happened in the past to happen in the future is how best we learn from our experiences, the lessons we got from the last 3 years in COVID response and the other outbreaks, because these viruses are not going to stop. They keep coming, and the stronger we are as a continent, the better. So this conference is going to address all these issues in different subgroups, in different tracks of discussions. And at the end, we will see also the governance, the collaborations, the partnerships, the investment required, but also how we revisit our own working as a continent, rather than just always waiting and relying on support that sometimes may not come the time we need it. And at the end, we are not isolated from the world, so we'll also see how we strengthen our collaboration and partnerships with countries and other continents beyond Africa. Africa has more than 50% of disease burden compared to other continents, but the solutions we provide to those challenges and other problems as a continent are quite limited. An example is that Africa contributes only 1% the research output worldwide, only 1%. So we'll be discussing in this conference also how we build and strengthen our capacity to conduct high-quality clinical trial research, how we train our people, our doctors, our nurses, so that are ready when the next disease is coming. They can handle both diagnostic, treatment, and care, because the early detection, determines all the other actions you need to do. So the more you delay, the more catastrophic that can be to the economy of a country, but also to the whole continent, that may take us back to what we had achieved. And indeed, there are some research that already published showing that COVID-19 in the last 3 years has taken us back at least 10 years on the gains we had achieved on HIV, control malaria and TB on the continent. So these are evidence that are coming out that pushes us to now think on how we catch up, how we double efforts before next pandemics. And to recall, COVID is not yet over, it's still there. But we've learned how we can deal with it, be prepared for the next ones, but also keeping our health system strong enough.
We appreciate your company. I'm Isabel Masozera. Always a pleasure bringing you the latest in Rwanda and beyond. We hope we earn the pleasure of your time. Stay with RTV.